Here's the thing. I used to be a massive advocate for walking away in relationships, and I think many of you are probably still in the stage where that advice is helpful. Like, walk away when you're being disrespected, walk away when people are treating you badly and it's not a good situation for you. Incidentally, do you like that you have the creaking of leather throughout this video? I think it's hot. I love a bit of kink, I love a bit of leather. Who doesn't? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're vanilla, and that's okay too. I, however, am not vanilla, even though my sun blush, pink blush top looks like I'm vanilla as fuck. I'm actually not. But that's another story for another time. So it is to really be an advocate for walking away from relationships that don't serve you, walking away from situations where you're disrespected. That is still true. There might be people you need to walk away from, and they're not going to get healthy if you stick around. However, because like you might be enabling them, depending on how emotionally healthy you are, or depending on whether codependency is at play. And to be honest, there's just some people that are bad for each other. There's just some people that just don't bring out the best in each other. In those situations, yes, you may need to walk away, but there's a lot to be said for conflict resolution, which is really just talking through things and being heard and knowing that your needs are important and knowing that you get to be seen and knowing that you get to be heard and knowing that you can say, hey, this is what I need. And when we come from a place of being fairly emotionally healthy and self-aware, when someone says to us, what do you need? We can say, I need some structure. I need to just know what's going to happen, because that helps me to understand. And when I don't have structure, it's quite triggering for me because I lived in a very chaotic home. And so a lack of structure makes me feel really unsafe. So if we do want a bit of spontaneity, if you can just give me a bit of a container and a bit of a boundary for it, so that I know we're going to have some unstructured time for half a day, and then I know that's happening, and then I don't freak out. Right? So that's from a very self-aware place. Now, if someone was to say, what do you need? And you're like, I need you to text me back because you didn't text me back and it's ridiculous. And it's like, what fucking fresh hell is this? Like, do you hear the difference in that scenario? Because, you know, you might think you're asserting your needs, but like, are your needs reasonable? And we either go one of two ways with this. We either go, my needs are not important and I'm not even going to assert my needs, or my needs are the most important thing and I don't give a shit about what anyone else needs. And he needs to text me back in 20 minutes regardless of whether he has a life or not outside of WhatsApp. I mean, you might find that he's genuinely engaged in something. And if he comes back, amazing. And if he doesn't come back, amazing. You're going to go on and have a great life. Do you know what I mean? It's like we don't need to attach ourselves to people and attach ourselves to when they contact us. So when we're not in a place that is, I don't want to say not emotionally healthy, because I think you're all on the road to healing, right? And I commend that, and you're all doing the work. But it's like when we know we're still really, I call it trigger happy, like we're really easily triggered. That's not really what trigger happy means, but that's what I call it. If we know that we easily go into triggering and we don't have that pause between the trigger and the response, what we can find is when we think we're asserting our needs, we're actually being quite unreasonable because we're like, well, you didn't text me back and I felt this. That's probably something you should work through with a counsellor or a coach before you start saying that to your partner. Like, you haven't really processed it. If you're like accusing someone, blaming, like attacking with words, like all that kind of dynamic, that's not really you asserting your needs, that's you projecting your wounds. Asserting needs, projecting wounds, two different things. Has been hurt, being able to talk to someone and be like, hey, can we have a conversation about this? I really value you being in my life and I'm glad that we're talking again. Can we have a conversation about what happened? Because I feel that it will really help us to move forward. Avoiding uncomfortable conversations, we're trading long-term growth for short-term comfort. It was something like that. It was fucking good. So basically, when you're not having that conversation with someone and being like, hey, can we have a conversation about this? Because I really love having you in my life and I really want us to clear this up. It's kind of uncomfortable, right? And as I say that now, I'm like, that's cool. I know I can do that. I feel comfortable doing that. But even as recently as like a year and a half ago, I'd be like, oh, fuck, like, it's scary. So if you're not there yet, don't worry, but like, just know that that's kind of the destination. And maybe it's not exactly that language, that's my language, and maybe that's not exactly right for you, but it's about being able to have those conversations, because it's really easy to just like walk away and slam the door when actually we're missing out on a huge growth opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes the other person isn't wrong and sometimes we're not wrong, and sometimes we have to look at that and be like, hey, I was a dick and I'm sorry, right? that's not to blame ourselves at all, but there's great power in saying, look, I screwed up, I'm sorry, can we talk about this, right? And it's very different when you go, I'm sorry you think I was a dick. That's not an apology. That's like kind of passive aggressive, like we don't want to do that, right? Hey, it's me. So I've got a confession. So these Love Bite episodes have actually been clips of much longer videos from my Infinite Love membership. Those longer videos are 20 to 30 minutes long, and you've been getting like 5-minute versions of them every week. So if you want more, Infinite Love membership literally open today, Tuesday, April 30th. And we're also giving you 3 free modules to try out to see if you like how it runs. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, check it out. The details are below. I know you're going to love it.